Hello, everybody, and welcome to Flights of Fandom, Mad Max, The Black Highway. I am your GM / Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Great Samino. I don't have no other name tonight, but I do use he, him pronouns. And I'm joined by a fantastic, awesome cast tonight, including a newcomer, which we're going to go ahead and... I think we'll save you for the end here, but in our our customary order, we're gonna go starting on the left. David, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us who you are and who you're going to be playing tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm David, he, him. I'm a graphic designer, an illustrator, and a game designer. You can check out my tabletop RPGs over at dbb-8.itch.io. You can also check me out on Instagram and Twitter at dbrunelbrutman. And this evening, I am playing McGuire, the Maestro D.
Awesome. Moving down our fine overlay here. Hopper, if you will go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh shit, that's me. What's up, everybody? I'm your resident dumpster fire Hopper. I use they, them pronouns, and I forgot what the fuck else I was supposed to say. So, I'm a professional arborist and pro GM based out of Brooklyn. And tonight I'm here playing Daxo of the Calberry Faithful, who uses he, they pronouns. Because it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. Moving to the other side. Marcy, if you go ahead and give us your introduction.
One of those things. I'm Marcy, y'all. Yeah, most of you know me as Experimental Madness, which is the username you can find me most places around the internet, except for Twitter, where I shall remain the resident cryptid. But in theory, you can find me there under the username Marciful. Whether or not I ever see anything that happens there, who knows? And tonight I'm playing Kerosene, and we're using the playbook, the Faceless.
Awesome. And last but not least, Fox, if you will introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am Rocket Fox. I use she, her. I can be found wherever Rocket Foxes can be found, but most likely on Instagram. And I'm going to be starting back up my stream here pretty soon. So pretty excited about that. And also, I have a podcast called Fantastically Strange. It is both fantastic and strange and for your ear holes. So put it in there. And as far as tonight goes, I'm going to be playing Sin, who, I was just passing on through, but it was a nice enough place, so I decided to stay. There's, enough people to keep my attention for a little while.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody, for giving us your introductions. I think without further ado, let's get into this. Because it's a day. What a lovely day. Anyhow, our story opens in the deserts of what used to be Western Australia. There it is. In a small town called Black Rawk. Coincidentally, built on the remains of an old-time coal mine facility. From the history books, yeah, they'd say. Things are different, though. The Black Rawk seems to be fewer and far between, but the weird, that's here in plenty. Sitting on top of the proverbial Black Highway, we got a nice little collection of locals, if you even want to call it that, transients, passers-by, dead meat to some. But they're gonna make a go of it, so might as well give them a little bit of their time, shouldn't we? Holing up in a very fine establishment, at least by standards of the Wastelands, we meet our first player here, character, who's tending bar at the dust bucket.
Yeah. All right. So we see the Dust Bucket, a bar in the town of Black Rock, which, like much of the town, is in this warren of tunnels that used to be this old coal mine. So we're in one of the sort of larger carve outs in these tunnels, and it's a grimy spot. Everything in here is, no matter how many times you scrub it, always ends up covered with this thin layer of very fine black powder. But the proprietor, McGuire, has done what he can to kind of spruce it up and turn it into a hub for the community. So we see this space with these sort of makeshift tables and stools, kind of made out of anything and everything. Bits of plywood, scrap metal, any sort of part of like a car or an old piece of machinery that can be hammered flat into a surface or bent into a little bench or stool. The decorations are sort of similarly just a miscellaneous collection of wasteland scrap, all kinds of interesting stuff. Skulls of various animals. What are they? Unclear. Bits of wire tied with like little bits of plastic ribbon. The place is dimly lit, but by some pretty meager fluorescent lights and some kerosene lanterns kind of scattered around the tables. I think fortunately we're in a period where the generator happens to be running, so the lights are on. In the corner, we see an absolutely battered to shit old jukebox. However, the lights on the display are on, and we see this bar made out of a couple of long planks of plywood, sort of almost tied together with chicken wire. And behind it, these sort of several like large metal barrels, metal and plastic barrels, probably oil drums, and just this absolutely motley collection of, glass jars, cans, and whatnot that are used for drinkware here. And behind the tending bar, is McGuire. He's a big guy, late middle age. It's unclear if his bulk is muscle or fat. Could be a bit of both. Either way, he looks like somebody not to be messed with. He's dressed in a torn t-shirt, a battered leather vest, and an old leather biker helmet. And dude is just absolutely covered head to toe, every exposed piece of skin in scars, gained over a lifetime of violence. And that's who we see wiping down one of these miscellaneous glass jars behind the bar.
I'm just curious, what's on the menu today?
Well, coming to my bar, you generally gonna have 4 options. Number 1, we got the real hard stuff, moonshine. Make that in the back in the still. We got a standard weak beer. Distill that from, or brew that from whatever kind of grain we can get on hand when we have it. And then we got what I call tunnel wine, which is fermented out of, again, whatever we got on hand. I think this month we're working through a batch of mushrooms. And finally, we got the primo stuff. A+, top shelf. Pure fresh water.
Ooh, that's a big deal. So, which one of these other folks is joined you in this fine establishment today? And are they making your life easy, or are they making your life hard? Anybody can answer.
I think one prosthetic hand reaches up from underneath the bar. You see this strangely skeletal mix of wires and pistons with some semblance of like what looks like fingers. And they're currently like already formed into like a little grabby formation as she like reaches like one hand up and pulls one like glass with some liquid down to the depths of wherever she's at underneath the bar, and there is just an ungodly slurping noise. And there is Kerosene huddled up. I think knees to chest, but hands are like down on the floor. So she's like in this weird hunch formation as the glass is also on the floor. And she's just slurping the drink up. But quick point of order. Not with her mouth. She has a huge gas mask that covers most of her face and head, except for some pieces of like straggly black hair that can be seen, but most of it seems to be like shuffled underneath the harness of the gas mask. And there is a strange metal proboscis at the edge of the mask, which is the world's craziest silly straw. And that is what she is using to slurp up whatever liquid she's managed to get her two prosthetic hands on currently.
Let me ask you something, Kerosene. If you weren't here right now in the dust bucket, where else would you be in this town?
I would either be helping somebody fix some sort of, if there had any car or engine trouble, or if one of the generators was out, or if no one had any jobs for me, I'd be on the range testing some of my bombs.
Excellent. Let me ask you something. What is it like when you at mask? It takes a little sip of what you got. Does it talk to you? What does it say?
Yeah, Guzzle. Guzzle likes it. He likes it especially when I'm drinking gasoline. He's the one that helps me figure out the quality of it and if it's good to put in engines. Yeah, he tells me how to make everything work or run. Sometimes he tells me which wire goes where and if it's going to explode or not. But he really likes it when things explode.
Are you listening to Guzzle right now? Is he saying anything interesting?
Yeah. I think you can actually hear her sort of semi-talking to herself around the edge of the whatever the internal straw structure is. She can push it to the side and push it back. She's just like, we should probably fix the generator that's powering the distillery later. I think we're supposed to be working on that. And I think this is not heard. This is totally just in her head. There's just this susurrous voice. I did that on purpose. Thank you. That's just, no, you don't need to be working on anything. You should be going back to what you do best. You need to light it up. But she's not paying attention too much to that right now. She's drinking whatever. Is it alcohol? Is it water? Is it gas? What did she find?
It's probably moonshine.
Yeah, great. I should have specified before. Kerosene is clearly a teenager of some indeterminate age. in the range of anywhere between 15 right on up to 17. It's kind of hard to tell under the mask.
It sounds like as you're trying to listen to Guzzle, that you're opening up your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom. Would you roll weird for me?
Yeah. Math is fun. I'm good at it. 10.
All right. On a 10, the MC gives you a good detail. If there's anything interesting about the current situation, and there's a flash in your mind, hell is coming. But how is that different from the land around you? What is it that really strikes you about this moment?
I think there's this sudden sensation. Maybe it's from the moonshine. She knows she's not supposed to be drinking because McGuire has told her she's something called underage, which she doesn't know what that means. But there's like a heat that rushes like into her cheeks. And again, it could be the liquor, but like there's this tingling in the back of her spine that she always gets when she's about to create something that's particularly explosive. And she feels this urge to innovate, but she doesn't know what yet.
And as you have that kind of explosive kind of bit of inspiration, who else barges into the dust bucket to give you a hard time, McGuire?
I'm sorry, did you say barge? Barges in? That sounds like me. So barging in would be Sin, who, allow me to describe, a little bit taller than average height, striking features, always kind of has a little bit of a sly smile that you can't really tell. Is it playful? Is it malicious? You don't know. But she sports what is essentially a fairly casual kind of look, but always very meticulously picked out to accentuate all of her assets. And so she pretty much charges in, everything real tight, like you would almost hear it squeaking. But she barges in straight over to the bar where McGuire is cleaning a glass. And she would pretty much start confronting him.
Oh, yeah? What about?
You know...
G'day, Sin. What can I do you for?
I can't believe it. I can't believe you would do this to me. Listen, you know that I was going to be spending last night with Shank. And what happens? What happens? Who comes rolling around but Shiv? McGuire, how could you? You know Shiv is tomorrow night.
Shank ain't good for you, Sin.
Well, neither is Shiv, but, you know, I mean, a girl's got to spend a time,
Shiv's
you know.
better. There's worse and there's better.
Well, I mean, it depends on which way you're talking about. If you're talking about... And Sin at that point is going to look kind of and see maybe a little bit of Kerosene's leg poking out from under the bar and then kind of stops what she was about to say. Well, it's not important who's better at what. The point is, you keep getting involved in telling people things. They all showed up, and it, mark my words, if it hadn't ended up okay, you know, I would be much more angry right now.
Are you really gonna stand there and tell me you can't handle yourself, Shiv?
Well, that's how it ended up being relatively pleasant evening, I must admit. but it could have been very, there were knives drawn and then undrawn, and she kind of just like trails off.
Yeah, I thought you were into that sort of thing.
I'm into that sort of thing.
Oh, good God.
No. Kerosene, honey, I don't think you... Yeah, well, it's not... Here, give me...
Have you been down there the whole time?
Yeah.
McGuire, moonshine, please. I'm here for a drink is what I'm not... I wasn't talking about anything at all.
Yeah, all right. Well, name your poison.
Are you still working on the mushroom wine or whatever it is you had last time?
Yeah, it won't rot your guts. Too bad.
Yeah, I'll take some of that.
All right, one mushroom wine coming up. Hey, you, lass. You getting into the moonshine again?
No. She regurgitates like everything from the from Guzzle. It goes like back into the glass, and she just puts it back up onto the counter and like pushes it forward. No.
That's high proof stuff, kid.
Yeah.
Want to keep that away from your hands.
No. Yes. Baby.
I'm pretty sure once it's been in, that counts as having ingested it, even if it comes back out again.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, I'm gonna toss that bitch.
Sin, what's one thing you have decided to, is it you suppose now, having been exposed to the people of Black Rock? What's your read on them?
They seem like a nice bunch. Very, very down to earth for the most part. And the thing, I think, Rocket speaking, the thing that I think Sin likes and that keeps her around, even though she would never say it, is that there is a little bit of sense of community there, where, McGuire has put a lot of effort into building this bar and making it a community center. And there is this weird sense of people coming together and what's the word, helping one another on occasion, and she I mean, listen, I've been into a weird thing or two, but I find I kind of like it.
Excellent. And one thing I will say, one thing I forgot to mention about Black Rock, what makes it so special, is you've managed to get yourself a little bit of that rarity fresh water. But there is something particularly interesting about Black Rock. Now, the Black Rock itself, relatively sparse, but even sparse as it is now, still enough of it. You can run a little bit of power through the town, as it were. Every one of you guys has got a knife stove, little thing that you can shovel in, just like the olden days. So my thing about this is, you got yourself, the height of luxury, as it were. In addition to, maybe that's why these people have just fucking finally figured out they can talk to each other, rely on each other, maybe nice and civvy a little bit. But water brings with it some very strange characters. And what strange character comes waltzing into the dust bucket, and why for?
So, coming from a relatively unexpected direction, I think that being, is there a back room or is there a storage closet with no exit?
There's a back area where McGuire has the still.
Yeah, I think coming from wherever is the most unlikely to be coming from, the door just very quietly opens and out slips a pretty slender figure of Daxo. They're wearing just a very just jeans that have been very carefully and tidily and neatly patched, and an old vest that looks like it's been kind of cut down a little bit to make it fit them. Daxo kind of just does a quick tidy up of this very neatly parted black hair that looks like it's been cut with a knife. So it's it's apocalypse chic. And I think just kind of looks around very carefully and just kind of very snuffles at the air before closing the door and hoping that McGuire didn't notice where they came from. I think these very, very pale, almost golden eyes just kind of don't blink very often, which I think is seems to be a pretty common theme with all the kids from the tunnels, and just slides into a seat at the bar. And for the record, Daxo looks like they could be. He might be 15. No, he's probably looks like 16. But I think most people know that he was one of the older of the kids that showed up about 6 years ago. So has at least 16, but seems older in a very unsettling way. And just I think that this is literally the Dwight being scared of Angela meme, where just like all of a sudden there is a Daxo.
Kerosene is staring at you, but you can't see her eyes through the mask, so she's always doing stuff like this from behind the bar.
To say, McGuire, how do you react to your sudden abundance of clientele today?
Yeah, McGuire does like a double take, like, just sort of like a casual glance over and like, oh wait, there's somebody there? Okay. Good day, Daxo. Where do you come from?
Oh, around.
Right. Me bar's lousy with kids today.
And you hear just in a kind of like a grizzled, beer-soaked voice out of the corner, one of these ancients, just mutter under their breath, well, better than no kids at all. The fellow that you hear speaking is an old man, old-timer, just by the notion of, but goes by the name, the moniker of Clock. Mostly just because he's got a little pocket watch he always carries with him. Broke years ago. Stopped in the 1 minute that made the most difference in his life, and he just keeps on staring at it. Between that, alternating with his beer.
Yeah, too right, Clock. Gonna get you a bevy, kid. Water?
You know your water's impure, McGuire.
Yeah, I know. But it's polite to offer nonetheless.
Kerosene keeps shoving the regurgitated alcohol now towards you, but doesn't seem to know what to say, so she's just pushing it forward.
Yeah, McGuire just sort of still looking at Daxo, just kind of takes the container as you shunt it forward, just sort of grabs it and dumps it over in the slop sink.
Sin's just gonna kind of utter, McGuire, what he doesn't know.
This kid'll know. Right, Daxo?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Daxo just smiles a little bit, just a hint of teeth.
Yeah, you see? Look at that one.
It's unsettling. I mean, you're a nice young man.
If I've unsettled you, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm never settled.
Just from behind the bar. Are you visible now?
Oh, I'm visible. I'm standing up. It's just that I'm behind the bar, the bar top.
I think Daxo tries to smile comfortingly, and all it does is expose more teeth.
You can't see if Kerosene is reciprocating or not, but almost certainly there is. If the mask was off, it would be just an unsettling teeth off. But it's just that weird impassive gas mask face that stares back.
I hate to break up this fine little meet cute, as it were, friendly moment. But all of you hear the dust kicking up. You hear the sound of mechanics and hydraulics moving at a very slow pace as the gate to the town opens and all of you hear the roar of several fine motor machine cars, some two-wheel numbers you'd suppose. What seem like they're just passing through, but they're getting closer to your place, McGuire.
Oh. I feel like Kerosene is like suddenly like look like it's like a dog with like either a sudden noise or an animal outside where they're just like, and she just yeets herself over the bar top and like scurries out the door, and you just hear her going engine.
Kerosene, McGuire, do you think that's a good idea?
Hey, GM, are we expecting anybody?
I will say this. While this is a fairly bustling relative to the Wasteland town, typically you do have a little bit of traffic, but oftentimes it's wanderers. It's usually something a little bit less aggressive than this. But
well, and also, I mean, you know, anyone who may not be as familiar with our beloved Kerosene may have a little bit of a reaction. We don't want to get shot up. I mean, come on.
So I'm going to...
An excellent point that I didn't even think about.
So
If
I
they
am...
let the gate up, they can't be too threatening looking, right?
Uh,
Go take a
It's
look.
like when your dog's off leash and you're just like, she's friendly.
as you guys are hearing the approaching engines, I would actually like McGuire, if you could make me, if you could read a situation for me. I think that would be appropriate.
Sure, that's what I was angling to do.
So
Cool.
it sounded like what you were trying to do. Yeah.
I am. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna do this straight. So I'm rolling plus sharp. And we're looking at a 7.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We are looking at a 6.
Ooh, okay. All right. So in that case, on a misc, ask one anyway, but be prepared for the worst. You get to pick from several questions. Where is my best escape route? Way in, way past? Which enemy is most vulnerable to me? Which enemy is the biggest threat? What should I be on the lookout for? What's my enemy's true position? Who's in control here? So it sounds like the only one that's really relevant is what should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I was thinking what should I be on the lookout for or who's in control here?
All right.
I'm actually kind of leaning towards who's in control here.
All right. So when we're thinking about who's in control, are you talking about who's in control here or who has just entered in and are they exerting some kind of influence is what you're asking?
Yeah, who is in control of the sort of situation in what I guess is sort of the entrance of town, center of town, because somebody had to raise the gate and somebody came in. Who's in control of that situation?
Absolutely. So I will tell you this. You are ready for the worst because there's just a chill at the back of your spine every time you hear the sound of two wheels and a powerful motor attached to it. Because this sounds familiar, but it's just kind of something you gotta accept when Black Rock attracts so much traffic. Now, the warlords to the north, you ain't had a problem with them so far. It's not been an issue, and so trade is pretty good. But, you know, it's the Wastelands, and things are weird and things are dangerous. And every time you hear those wheels roll in, you realize that it's somebody poses a great threat or perhaps is looking to exert some of their own kind of dominance here. You realize that small as a town as you guys are, biggest set of resources you got, these guys are in control.
All right. So Yeah, McGuire's going to turn to Sin. What do you say we go take a look at the new company?
Yeah, seems like the least we can do.
Keep an eye on Kerosene.
I think so. Hey, oi, Daxo, you want to go on a field trip?
All right. Unless
He's real eloquent, that one.
so all of you go out to take a gander at the
Yeah, like McGuire's move here is just to sort of get to the door of the bar and just sort of like post up, take a look, see what he can say.
Okay. So as you guys roll in to kind of like where the commotion is coming off, I'm gonna have to change the music a little bit here. Because these guys are some rock and rollers. So as you exit out into the square proper of Black Rock, there's about maybe a dozen folks about and rolling in on these nasty looking modified motorcycles. You see a trio of some nasty looking characters. Now, don't have any big weapons, big guns on them, but they got some nasty looking machetes attached to their thighs. And a lot of muscle, a lot of scar tissue. Kind of familiar amount of scar tissue, in fact. But the thing that all of them do have in common, as varied as they are in their capacity for violence, all of them are wearing what looks like a dog skull as a necklace around their chest, and it hangs low. And they're just kind of like looking, taking things in, and as their gaze kind of takes in Black Rock, of course, the leader, a little bit larger than the others, his gaze seems to rest on the dust bucket. What do all of you do?
McGuire will, make eye contact with him back. Arms still crossed, but kind of breaking into a something akin to a friendly smile. G'day, mate. You and your lads fancy a drink?
Oh, yeah, we could do. Appreciate that, champion. And this big kind of dingo skull leader nods to the other two members of his company, and they begin moving towards the dust bucket and see if they can find a spot.
Question for the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of these wolves?
Oh, yeah.
So I can see through their disguise.
Open your brain to the psychic maelstrom for me, if you would.
I think,
Roll.
yeah, Daxo's standing behind Sin and off to one side and just kind of leaning around and takes a deep breath in. What am I rolling?
You are rolling plus weird.
All right, and that is 2d6.
2d6 plus your weird score.
Well, I have a question. The other question is, what does a highlighted skill mean?
That is a good question that I don't have the answer for. Why don't you roll while I look for that?
All right.
You get experience when you roll on a highlighted stat.
Oh, dope.
And also you glow.
Yeah, there we go. in Daxo's case, most definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
So that is a 5 and a 2 plus 2.
Okay. All right.
Daxo's a little bit weird.
Yeah, there's a lot weird here. On a 7 to 9, the MC gives you an impression. So the thing that you gather off of these guys as you open your brain to the maelstrom. And by the way, what does this look like as you kind of like just peer in and try to see part the veil on these wolves?
I think you watch somebody was watching. I think the camera pans in, zooms in a little bit, and very slowly, and we see Daxo's pupils dilate smaller and smaller and smaller until they're almost not there at all. It's just, and in this light, those eyes look real gold, and it's just not breathing at all.
So as you open your brain, you realize that these wolves are part of a larger pack. Big boss somewhere out there calls himself an alpha. And in your mind's eye, you just can't help but think that maybe it's a vision, maybe it's just your imagination, but you've seen these people putting the sword, machete to a town kind of similar to this one. Maybe not that long ago.
Daxo's just gonna tug on Sin. Are you wearing sleeves?
She does not have sleeves, but she has a lot of accoutrement. So she has like straps on lots of things in lots of places. She has like belts and stuff with little
Unnecessary numbers of belts.
Yeah, and like there's little like decorative baubles on various places for whatever reason.
You just feel a very gentle tug, and Daxo just goes,
Yeah?
"They're going to try to kill us. We should kill them first."
Sin's gonna turn to McGuire. I'm imagining our new friends have not quite arrived to the bar just yet.
Yeah, like they're approaching.
And Sin's gonna just kind of under her breath to McGuire. The bad news.
Yeah. Thanks for the tip.
No.
I think
Worse news than people come through before. Look at them, they're dangerous.
All right, so let's keep them where we can keep an eye on them, right?
GM question. Did we see Kerosene anywhere when we came outside? Is she about?
Let me see.
at that moment you hear, "Can I check your engines?" As she's already like standing by the motorcycles. She's like with she's re-reticulated her prosthetic hand and she's holding her toolkit.
Okay.
And like she's like looking at like the brand new vehicles that she's never seen before, and she's very excited. And she's just standing there. I almost think she's quite stunted, I think, in her growth a little bit. I can't imagine why. And I think, do you think that some of these monstrous motorcycles might even be towering over her just a little bit?
Oh yeah,
or like the very ends of them. I mean, not the whole thing, but.
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. I think this is really kind of up to you. Like, what is it about these motorcycles that's so enticing to you?
I fix and repair and sort of handle all the day-to-day stuff in this town, which is some of the older cars that are mostly now used for, either supply runs to other outposts, or at this point are maybe even used for like, holding other tools that are either to like hopelessly plow through to try to see if something will grow here or not, or try to find more water. They're not really used for riding. Mm-hmm. And I've just seen vehicles come in that are clearly used for like hardcore wasteland driving. And I never get to, I haven't handled one of those since I think I was a kid, in Gastown, when the caravans used to come in. So this is really exciting for Kerosene. I do think though, like her guzzle in her head suddenly changed voices. The whispering like keeps changing, and like there's a very different, more stern, strict voice that's like speaking into her brain. It's just like, is that any way for a lady to be behaving? And like she just sort of like drops the toolkit suddenly and like stands up very straight. Like some Sin and McGuire, you're used to seeing her like clearly having a communion with Guzzle, it's like, you need to say your name properly. You were taught better than that. And then like the voice sort of fades out again. And now she's just standing there, but clearly wanting to play with the bikes.
Can I would like to very specifically propose in Mad Max style that one of these bikes has been chopped with like the lead bike has been chopped with like a V8 engine.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Kerosene wants it.
like an engine has been taken out of a full-size car and just chunked into this motorcycle.
Through some manner of eldritch like mechanics, this thing has just basically just been grafted on. This thing is a war chariot, like all three of them are. But the thing that you notice is like all of them have been chewed up. Like you can see where there are plates that have been affixed to these these car motorcycles, these muscle cycles, I think is what I'm gonna call them.
Yeah.
They're
Muscle cycles is very Mad Max.
These muscle cycles, they have some plates that have been clearly shot with buckshot. That said, as the leader kind of like looks at you, I need you. I think you're kind of like fast talking them, like maybe like not seducing, but like you're trying to like get them to let you play with the bikes. So I would like you to roll plus hot. It sounds like.
I'm so good at that. I have a -1.
But it's been a -2.
Can I help here?
You may absolutely help here. How do you help?
All right. I think McGuire sees Kerosene pop up, like go right for the bikes, and like continues to wave the guys over, and is gonna say, "Our Black Thumb here will take a look at your rides for you. She's the best in town. Look 'em over. They'll be real shiny when you get out."
All right. So in that case,
and I have I have a 3 with Kerosene.
Awesome. All right. So roll plus your history. See if Kerosene gets that +2 assistance.
All right. We're looking at 11.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I think that like there's something about your manner, and I think like seeing all the scar tissue that you've got all over your body. I think this guy, like, there's a sense of like you're kindred spirits, and this guy
cool. So
like
I'm gonna kick. I guess I kick +2 help over to Kerosene.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That brings me up to a +1.
Yeah, so the way I'm thinking cinematically is that person just kind of like takes the estimation of you and then looks to estimate and kind of like get a read on Kerosene. Kerosene, roll for me, would you?
Not super great. Well, it's not terrible. 8.
Okay.
It would have been a lot worse without that +2.
Yeah, on a 7 to 9, they'll go along with you, but they need some concrete assurance, corroboration, or evidence first. And I think, so what do you do that convinces them that you are okay to look at these muscle cycles?
I actually think maybe it's the sight of her prosthetics. Now that we're like not huddled behind a bar, you can see the full scope of them. They go all the way to just a little bit below her waist. And now that she's standing, you can see a tube and a couple of wires that are now like she's got sleeves on, but where her regular arm is snaking back up to the back, you can see the portable packs that are very clearly for flamethrowers that are like attached to her, and she's like using pistons, like using like the muscles of her arms to like make them work, and they're like clicking, and you can hear them firing as she goes to pick up the toolbox, and the prosthetics are actually moving in time with them, which I think is probably fairly advanced for a lot of prosthesis here in the Wasteland. It's normally like grab what you can, but she's managed to make them sort of respond to her musculature in a very rudimentary way. She still has to like force like the bottom of her prosthetic like hand to like make them like really stick, but she can get them to move with the motion of the rest of her arm.
Cool. I think taking a look at this, you get like an expression that if you could read it effectively, you would see that in this guy, he's just thinking, well, fuck me, jeez. And basically taking one look at this, just has, instead you see on his face like a sneer and like a nod, and then he just looks to the other members of this crew, and they file into the rust bucket, taking your assurances at face value.
Yeah, and Guzzle whispers to her, like, "You're supposed to say thank you. Thank you."
Yeah. And yeah, I think
and
there's
McGuire does a very like not like overly elaborate, but just to sort of like turn to the side, like, come on in.
Yeah. And they file in and very much cozy up to this kind of ramshackle bar. I think that, you know, as they come in, they kind of like take in the whole of the establishment, and then they just kind of like all muscle and anger and kind of like just like barely restrained violence, just kind of like sit down and start looking to you expectantly, McGuire, for the drinks.
Yeah, I think I just lean over to Sin quickly and say,
If I had to put down a wager, I'd guess our best bet here is to avoid violence. It's if you turn up the charm on these boys. Collect a few more.
And she's pretty much just been staring at them the whole time. You say lots of muscle and anger and violence. And she'll just be like, you know, I think you read my mind. And she's just going to kind of go over to the table.
yeah, and McGuire nods and then goes back behind the bar.
All right.
What can I get you boys?
Whatever you got won't rot my guts too bad. And all of the other two next to the leader just kind of like nod. And yeah, they're just kind of like looking expectantly kind of at some of the beverages you have on offer.
Sin's gonna come on over and just slide. What's the scenario? Like, McGuire, you know this place like the back of your hand. What table they sit at? What kind of what's the seating situation going on here?
Sure. Have they gone to so there's a bar and then there's a couple of tables. Have they gone to the bar or have they sat themselves down at a table?
You know what? That's a very good question. I think they sit at a table by clock.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so they've plopped themselves down at a table that's like a hammered out car hood, like a car hood that's been hammered flat. Which I think is, if it's by clock, clock doesn't hang out too close to the bar, I don't think. So they are maybe sort of like, kind of catty corner across the room from where the bar is.
Yeah, I think.
And like, I guess we're probably having like, McGuire's a hospitable gent, but he's not getting out from behind the bar to take orders. So we're having this conversation across the room.
Okay. All right. And yeah, actually, I think that at this point, yeah, if you want to, you can go ahead and start kind of like working behind the bar. Is anybody else kind of doing anything, kind of like taking in these characters? So you want to do anything untoward or toward?
Sin is approaching toward.
Okay. So Sin, you come up to this table. They all seem to be kind of like, a couple of them are like looking, like the leader is looking sharp-eyed, but they seem to be muttering amongst themselves. And at which point I think the leader kind of like looks up at you and kind of like, I think is kind of typically about to nod, and then just kind of like the eyes kind of narrow a bit, just trying to take you in. What do you do?
So on her, while they were muttering amongst themselves, on her way up, she just kind of reaches down and just like tears her shirt so it's a little more of a crop. And then she's going to go up and just lean, do a back lean onto the table. And not quite sitting up, but just like a real nice lean on it. And then be addressing the leader, I suppose, who's the only one who's been talking, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He looks at you and it says, just kind of like, help you then.
Well, it depends. I thought maybe you could help me. Help you.
Oh?
Yeah, well, what brings you through town? Your rides look like they've seen a bit of action or two.
Yeah, about that. Actually, you know what? This is I think this is fast talking. This is roll plus hot for me.
I will. 8.
Okay. I think that once again, this is he will kind of like say what he's up to and kind of like what brings him there, but with some sort of like concrete assurance. Let me double check. This is yeah, they'll go along with you, but they need some assurance, corroboration, or evidence first. And I think what's going to happen is this guy's going to look at you and says, well, about that, we're looking for someone.
Well, you're in luck. I'm already right here.
And yeah, I think he kind of like nods, and there's like kind of like a half smirk with the scar tissue, it just kind of like renders the smile crooked. And he says, well, that's nice, but looking for a fella.
Oh, well, I mean, if you swing that way, I can help you out.
Well, special, yeah. We're looking for a fellow what works a historical motor back from the history times. Ran through, gave us a bit of trouble. He was making his way here.
Historical. Interesting. Well, I tend not to talk business without talking pleasure. She turns around and kind of leans.
Yeah, I think at this point, he does kind of slide. I think as you are bringing the drinks, McGuire, I think he takes.
Yeah, I was about to say, McGuire has come over with 4 glasses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he makes sure that you have that one slid in front of you. And yeah, he's kind of like looking expectantly now. You have his attention.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear more about what you're looking for if you help me find what I'm looking for.
What's that?
Well, I understand that your bucks have seen a lot of action, but what about you?
Yeah, well, you talking to old Big Wheels here? And he just kind of like puts a hand on his chest. Yeah, I've seen plenty.
Yeah, well, that intrigues me. Besides, I see that you ain't got a gal by your side right now, and well, unless you are interested in checking up a night with your buddies here, got a nice, comfy bed.
And I think at that point, Big Wheels is looking at you, and he's, I think, is a little bit kind of like he's about to assent when one of the other kind of like of his troop, his compatriots, just looks over and just says, "Oi, boss will be mad. I'll make sure we take care of this first." And then I think that Big Wheels looks at him and he just says, "I fucking know that." Yeah, we gotta take care of business before pleasure. But
what a shame. Well, maybe I can help you out then. I've been here for a good long time. She's gonna kind of like look around, make a seedy eye.
And yeah, as you are kind of like looking around and like a little bit distracted, the what was it? I think Big Wheels looks over and says, "What about you, old timer? You know something about historical motors, right?" And at which point Clock like just clams up. And I think Clock understanding like the only thing you should do around people like this is just like ignore or hope that they don't pay attention to you. That is like, I think he's trying to play it conservatively, play it like quietly. And then that is when Big Wheel slams the drink that you gave him, McGuire. And he says to Clock, "Oi, old timer, I'm talking to you." And Clock remains quiet.
Sin's gonna lean forward and put her hand on his arm. Hey, you don't want to waste your time with him. He barely can speak a word as it is. I don't know. I've never, older gents aren't really my specialty. I've never looked in his mouth or anything, but I think they might have cut his tongue out or something like that.
I would like you to roll to bluff this this violent character. Roll plus hot for me.
I will. Show me something good. Okay. 10.
All right. On a 10, let me see. They'll go along with you unless or until some fact or action betrays the reason you gave them. So yeah, I think that at this
Keep
point,
your mouth closed, Clock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like Clock looks down and just like looks like he's having some sort of trouble with like just his it like just like locks down his mouth, purses it tightly, which is handy, like easy to do, is hard to do as he's got no teeth, and just kind of like looks down back at the table, and Big Wheels looks down at him, sits back down, satisfied.
Yeah, and I'll call over, I've gone back to the bar and I'm watching this exchange. Like, McGuire has sort of both hands on the bar, leaning forward, like watching what's going on, and I'll call across. "Oi, boys, you looking for someone? You talk to me."
Yeah, it's true. McGuire knows practically everyone around here. Sin is gonna turn and look at him, as she's like talking about him, and when she looks at him, she's gonna shoot him like a.
Yeah. At which point, I think Big Wheels then kind of like, without saying a word, gets up and approaches you. As that is happening, Daxo, where are you?
Funny you should mention that. This whole time, every time we see a shot of this conversation, no matter what angle it's from, you see Daxo in the background at the far edge of the room. Just kind of staring.
Kind of the side of a table, behind a potted plant.
Yeah, like
Imagine there's one moment when he's not there and just like slides in.
Yeah, just sort of like gone, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Daxo is just staring at these things that are pretending to be people.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, like, he kind of knows that nobody else is going to believe him. They can't see. So just trying to figure out if that means that if they're here, then does that mean that he has to do something? Should he go and tell the others? Do these people, they're pretty nice. They're not, they don't know the truth of the water, but they're nice people.
So
so a lot of indecision. I would say I would like to, who is the weakest here?
it sounds like you are trying to read a sitch. So roll me sharp.
It's a solid +0.
All right. What do you got?
That is an 8.
All right. On a 7 to 9, ask 1. Which enemy, like you said, which is the weakest?
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely one of these guys that's still at the table that Big Wheels has just left.
Weakest in not necessarily in the sense of physical strength, but in
Like,
who's the weakest link.
Oh yeah, like easily this one guy. He just seems like on
Little
top.
Wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Little Wheels. I'm gonna say this one is
Is it Big Wheels, Little Wheels, and Hot Wheels?
it's actually, this one is like leaner and looks like hungrier, but at the same time just isn't like roped with muscle like Big Wheels. He's just got more lean muscle. And there's just a name that springs to your mind through the maelstrom, Sprog. And so this like lean looking guy is just kind of sitting, kind of like watching the leader, but also kind of like just being very characteristically quiet. He wasn't the one that muttered to the boss about having other things to do.
Okay. I think Daxo's waiting, like they're not letting out any emotion and they're just basically trying to stay out of the line of sight of any of these people while also meandering around the bar and looking very normal, like just straightening chairs and wiping dust off this perpetually dusty place. The emotional equivalent of the bartender who is always cleaning the same glass trope. It's that.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of clearly waiting for a moment to pounce or run away.
Okay. Yeah, I think that as you are kind of moving kind of like behind this figure, kind of like surreptitiously, you see just out the corner of your eye a flicker of movement as like across the across the square of this town, you see somebody like kind of throw themselves over the barbed wire encampment kind of like gate, as it were, like basically covering the barbed wire with a black beaten leather jacket that has seen some like real terrible serious wear and tear.
From which side?
I was gonna say the entrance to this town is north, and this is kind of like in the eastern part of the western part of the encampment, is just kind of throwing himself over as the town, like the time of day is getting closer and closer to dusk. It seems like he's trying to do it all sneaky like.
From outside in?
From outside in, yeah.
I think Daxo would like to sneak in that general direction.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going outside at the bar?
Yes.
Yeah, Kerosene is out there. I'm also wondering if she heard anything.
Yeah.
While she's humming to herself, playing with delightful engines.
Read a sitch for me.
Oh, I'm so good at that. Thank you for asking.
So roll plus sharp.
5.
5. That is, I think that you do not notice it in time for, I think you are too busy happily working on the engines. And that is when I think that, like, set the scene for me. You're working on these bikes. What, like, kind of like, you know, are you working on just the leader's muscle cycle, or what is kind of going on? What does it look like when you're in the zone?
How much time has passed up until this very moment? Because that'll determine how long she's been spending on each individual bike.
Probably just about 10 minutes, I think.
Okay, then she's definitely still on like the leader's bike, but the one with the V8 engine, she's taking her time with the V8.
Yeah.
She never gets one of these. She hasn't seen one in ages.
Yeah, and Daxo, you see this moment where I think that you see this kind of figure pull the jacket off of the barbed wire fence, throw this jacket on. It's got one sleeve and like a kind of a shoulder pad sewn to it, kind of like haphazardly, is seeming to move to get the drop on Kerosene.
Oh, Daxo's going to do the super creepy thing where they just pop up right next to.
Yeah, I think this figure kind of like starts back, and you realize as you are looking at him, he is just like fairly like not very well shaven, just completely, just looks haunted in his like with these deep set eyes. You realize he wasn't looking to actually, as you were kind of like getting closer to him. Actually, this is also read a sitch. No, yeah, read a sitch for me on this.
I'm gonna level up so fucking fast. That is plus sharp.
Yeah.
That's a 9 for me.
Okay, what question would you like to ask?
I also get to ask an additional question because I have the child thing move, sniffing the air. I did not use it before because I am dumb. Hopper, it's dumb. So I would like to, for my regular question, I think if I'm recalling the options properly, I would like to what is I'm trying to determine intention.
Yeah. So what's my enemy's true position?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't want to tangle with either of you. He just wants one of the bikes.
Good luck, son. They're mine now.
And what's your second question?
And my second question is just going to be not super helpful, but I'm very curious as to what your answer is. What or who is the source of the most pain or fear here now?
It's him. This is a haunted individual. In fact, as you ask that question, I need you to open your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom.
This is fine. Am I rolling?
Yeah, you're rolling. Roll plus weird.
That's it's only 7 total.
Okay. 7 to 9. The MC gives you an impression. Behind this man, just the barest flash, you see specters of a trail of dead. People from throughout the wasteland just seem to haunt him. And I think I think that you take this in right at the moment when Big Wheels is moving up to the bar. And looking at you, McGuire, he is ready to talk shop with you about finding who he's looking for.
Yeah.
So, you come looking for somebody?
Yeah. Motor, big and historical. Looks like something from before all this. You ever heard of something called a Pursuit Special?
I mean, I think McGuire absolutely has, and he does not like the sound of that.
Yeah. You know for a fact, like, Pursuit Specials, those were cop vehicles back before the world was ruined.
Yeah, like McGuire has... I mean, I'll say it in character.
Been quite a year since I tangled with a Pursuit Special.
Yeah, you look it. And he's looking at you. And he's looking very closely at you. I need you to do something under fire.
Sure. All right. So I have I would normally roll plus cool, but I have a move call this hot, which allows me to roll hot instead of cool to do something under fire.
Yeah.
So
Wait, are you literally, I'm too sexy to dying this?
that's one interpretation.
How dare.
I believe the only interpretation there is. I'm just gonna slide that across.
And we're going to be looking at a 13 here.
Woo! All right. So, what do you communicate to this guy that makes it very clear that you are not to be trifled with?
McGuire sort of rolls his shoulder in such a way that it kind of like lifts his tattered shirt, and you can see this tattoo of a pair of very sharp feathered spread wings on his shoulder, which I think, at least this is certainly McGuire's intent, this guy might recognize as a pretty serious gang of lore.
Yeah. And as you do that, he steps back a couple of steps, and just like looks back up at your eyes, looks down at the mark, and then looks back at you, Sin, and just says, "Sorry, love. Had a bad business, this."
Oh.
And he motions to the other guys to sit up from the car, sit up from the table.
You lads getting going so soon?
Yeah,
You're welcome to stay a spell as long as you don't cause no trouble.
yeah, just feeling a bit tired is all, mate. And he is starting to move towards the door.
Well, be sure to look me up tomorrow.
And as you kind of like give that like heads up, like to him, that nod to him, Sin, he begins moving towards the door, the other two following, at which point, Daxo, you see coming through the entrance of the door, to the dust bucket, these three toughs, and as they move through, they look past you at the guy that is moving to take the bike, and that's when you hear Big Wheel say, "That's him!" And begin.
Kerosene hears this now.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, you stir from the reverie. You see these three lumbering brutes kind of like looking at past you at a guy that you just saw, like not even in the corner of your vision, who just surprises you right next to Daxo, and at which point, in one fluid motion, Daxo, you see the stranger place his arm across you protectively, move you to one side, move his hip, and pull a sawed-off shotgun to point it at the three brutes. And that is where we're going to take our 10-minute break.
Imagine from the bar, we can probably hear the shouting.
Oh, it's unmistakable. This guy, you absolutely heard the shout of somebody ready to rip somebody apart with a machete. And then,
the unmistakable sound of violence about to unfold.
and that is also when you hear the sound of the report of a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty unmistakable.
What do all of you do?
I mean, Kerosene's out there
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, Kerosene, you see this stranger seemingly throw a protective arm across Daxo and take aim and fire center mass at, let's say, Sprague. And yeah, at which point things don't look good and things look like they're about to get hot and heavy. Looks like Big Wheels is reaching for the machete. What do you do?
Oh, are we not friends anymore? I don't know if you're gonna make me read a sitch, which I'm happy to do. Do I think that the stranger that's put a protective arm out, does it feel protective, or do I suspect he's trying to kidnap Daxo and that these guys are still friends?
You know what? That is a very good question. You need to read a situation.
Yeah, because I could be firing at a different person. Nope. That's going to be a 9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, what's my best escape route? Way in, way past. Which enemy is most vulnerable to me? Which enemy is the biggest threat? What should I be on the lookout for? What's my enemy's true position, or who's in control here? What do you want to know?
It's either what's my biggest enemy or who's in control here, because the actual question is, was that a protective arm? And these guys that rolled into town are the threat, or is this guy about to take Daxo from the town?
My question is, which question is most interesting to you right now?
Who should I fire the flamethrower at? So it's, I think it's
Yeah.
who's my biggest enemy.
Yeah, you get the sense that there is like just something about this guy that is has his arm across Daxo. It's a sadness, a deep sorrow, and anger and fury and insanity and madness all wrapped into one big package. And this is a kindred spirit.
I don't like that. I don't like that. There's a lot of sounds coming from Guzzle. It's a lot. I don't like looking at him.
Yeah, you don't.
But I get that he's probably not here to hurt me, and that these guys are probably here to hurt Daxo, and it's Daxo's safety that Kerosene cares about in this, not the stranger.
Mhm.
So she just puts down the tools and flips back her prosthetic hands go all the way back, and like spurts of fire start flickering from the base of her wrists. And she aims them at the bikes.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Your babies.
It just got real.
I can make more.
It sounds like you. Yeah.
Hey, if we're not friends anymore, you won't need these.
All right. Go aggro on someone if you would. Roll hard for me.
I got +3 to that. Thank God I do. It's an 8.
All right. With an 8, let me double check something. Oh, pardon me.
I've got a faceless move called Beastly.
Okay.
That gives me an extra +1 to my hard moves.
All right. So actually, the go aggro was a misnomer. It sounds like what you are trying to do. This is, let's see, not tactical and support. This is more like exchanging harm. But let me double check. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, what you are doing is you are exchanging harm. But in this case, I don't think you really there's no harm to be exchanged from a stationary bike. How much damage does your flamethrower do?
It's more like I'm about to do it.
Uh-huh.
Or like, would they like to test me to see if I just can destroy their bikes? Like, I can fix them later. I don't care. But
Okay.
I'm about to do it now.
Okay. In that case, you get to then that is go aggro. So in that case, you can choose one of the above or one of the following, which is you force your hand and they suck it up. They cave and do what you want, or they get the hell out of your way. They barricade themselves securely in. They give you something they think you want or tell you something you want to hear, or they back off calmly, hands where you can see.
Back off calmly, hands where I can see, baby.
Yeah, and you just see these 3 guys just start, backing up, starting heading towards the gates, kind of moving a careful way around, trying to drag Sprague with them.
I think by this point, probably Sin and McGuire, if McGuire's following. Sin is definitely outside at this point, after hearing the commotion, and
For sure.
she would be out, and she she has her rifle on her trusty, well, one of her trusty babies. And she comes out and she pretty much has it aimed. It has this beautiful scope on it, and she just approaches the guys as well. And she's gonna start yelling at them.
Okay, what are you
Unless
yelling?
anybody wants to jump in real quick.
Yeah, what do you guys do?
I mean, McGuire is going to march out of the doorway of the bar with Sin, and I think chunk cocking a I quote convenient shotgun, which is one of the features of my establishment.
Amazing.
How convenient.
However,
Is the shotgun named Inconvenience?
yes, inconvenience.
She's a mighty ornery girl.
And I think as Sin advances on the bikers, is the stranger does the stranger is he grabbing Daxo? Is it what's his situational attitude towards Daxo?
I would like you to read a sitch for me, because I think that this qualifies again, but
For sure.
I'm also going to give you probably a little bit of extra information.
Okay.
It is very funny to me that everybody else is rolling into the situation going like, what's going on? And Daxo's just over here like, we gotta kill the monsters.
Yeah, Daxo has fully resolved this. Well, it's a 6.
Oof.
Okay. On a miss one, ask one anyway, but be prepared for the worst. So, I take it this is what's my enemy's true position?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will tell you this. Okay. So I think that you get what you want in this case, which in this case, you get a sense of what the stranger's doing, which is doesn't care about, necessarily Daxo, but doesn't want to hurt Daxo either is very clear to you because, that nasty looking sawed-off shotgun is pointed at the trio of toughs, but it kind of darts back to you as he's kind of taking in the new threats and kind of also pointing it at Sin. And that is when also, as you are kind of reading the situation, where the buckshot has torn this kind of vest that was kind of this raggedy vest that was covering Sprague's body, you see something a little disconcerting, which is you see a tattoo almost identical to your own.
Well, I hate that. So I glance quickly in the direction of the guys, right? I catch a glimpse of that.
Bugger.
Point my shotgun at the stranger.
Back off from the kid. Now.
And the stranger looks at you, looks at Daxo, and I think just doesn't really kind of say anything. There's this kind of animal cunning, this kind of animal instinct that is being transmitted by his actions, and very suddenly, as if to kind of push off of you, Daxo, he just kind of pushes you to one side and then starts backing away towards the bar, or starts heading towards the back of the bar, to one side of the wall of the establishment, as if to kind of put more distance and cover between you and himself.
Cool. And I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna let him do it and sort of circle. I'm imagining as he's backing up, I'm sort of going forward and around, sort of to get to Daxo's position. And I'm gonna keep my gun. I'm gonna keep the shotgun trained on him, but I'm not looking at him. I'm looking at the bikers.
Yeah, as the bikers are looking at you, you just hear the leader say to you, "Look, it's a big. You'd be doing a big favor for Alpha if you get a chance to put some buckshot between his eyes." And as you hear that name, Alpha, you recognize something more from your history flares up. What does that name evoke in you?
Well, back in the day, when McGuire used to ride with the Tarfeather gang, there's a fella sort of middle of the pack, went by Omega.
God damn it.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
this is very this sounds like very familiar to you. This is a very, like, you realize that when he's talking about Alpha, the person you're thinking of is Omega. And the thing that you realize real quick is if these guys are anything like Omega was, these are some vicious sons of bitches.
I think in IRL too, when I'm assuming Big Wheel is still doing the talking, and neither of his training wheels are.
Yeah, none of the training wheels are talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sprague is moaning in pain from the buckshot.
Sin still has her rifle up, and she has not really been paying attention to all the exciting goings on behind her. She's like, "Do my eyes deceive me, or did I see you advancing toward my girl and boy over here? That's not acceptable. I don't like that. I don't think we're gonna go on that date. I think you better leave."
And yeah, as you say that, I think that Big Wheel starts again, kind of like slowly backing off. He's watching all of you intently. I was gonna say, if you guys are not watching the stranger has moved to the back of the establishment, like probably is beginning to run towards the mine. But at the same time, I will say this, like, there is a nasty look on Big Wheels' face. Just like a sneer and a very, like, curling into a smile.
Daxo's very good at kind of slipping past people's gazes and just being an unperson, and just he wants to maneuver himself to where he can see their backs.
Okay. So it sounds like you're trying to sucker someone. I'd like you to, let me see, when you attack someone unsuspecting or helpless. So in this case, you are going to roll plus, I believe it's hard. Let me double check. Oh, roll, yeah, roll aggro, roll plus hard.
Can I assist in that that when he gets that sneer, she's going to, her second weapon is a lovely and beautiful bladed and spiked chain. And when he gets his sneer on his face, she's gonna, from no one knows where she produced it from, but she's gonna take it and just kind of like whip it out onto the ground and start like kind of swinging it around, like kind of like against the ground like a snake, and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, did I say something funny?" And
as you do this, you are kind of like, the chain and the blade are moving in a semi kind of like hypnotic pattern. I'm going to say that you can help Daxo with this maneuver.
Got you.
Yeah, so roll to help. Roll plus history. And then at the same time, Daxo, as soon as we determine the result on that, you can roll for succouring someone.
Okay,
11.
I am succouring someone. Okay.
Rolled an 11.
Oh shit. Okay. Daxo, you get +2 to your roll.
Hey,
All
my
right.
boy. Don't touch my boy.
This is
You can't make me spurt water.
This
I'm
is
a
sharp-
serious
sharp.
hardened wastelander here.
this is sharp.
Yeah,
Or-
this is
or
this
hard.
is this
No,
is
it's
hard.
hard.
Yeah, because you're going aggro.
Spitting water would be sacrilege.
Yes, that would be. Can't waste water.
Oh shit.
It's precious.
Oh no. But okay, how'd you do?
Oh, I did fucking garbage.
Okay.
I with that +2, that is a grand total of 6.
Okay. Oh no.
Wait, hold on. Let me do math. Yes, a grand total of 6.
Okay. So
Could have been worse.
It was
Alright.
a 2 and a fuck.
Ooh.
Oh no. All right, let me just double check something here. I'm pretty sure that yeah, I was gonna say, let me see. To see something by force, exchange harm, variations, assault to secure, keep hold of something, fight your way free, defend someone else from attack. I will say that, let's see, this is tactical support moves. That's the problem here. Let me double check.
So when you attack,
Okay, actually, so subterfuge moves, when you're the cat, roll plus cool. What is it? What is your
with
cool?
plus cool, it is the same thing.
Okay. All right. On a miss, your prey escapes you. So I'm gonna make a hard move here, which is that as soon as you get spotted, Big Wheels is gonna whip around and in one fluid motion is gonna grab the machete and hold it to your throat, and grab you as a human shield. Now that's not.
Shotgun
Uh-oh.
whips around in McGuire's hand instantly.
Yeah.
Is on this boy.
Yeah, at which point, yeah, he is just continuing to back off and is dragging Daxo with him. And he is just looking at all of you, says, now nobody feel like they get froggy here. Understand?
Kerosene lights up the flamethrowers, which are literally aimed at the engines of their bikes.
Uh-huh.
And be like, could say the same thing.
All right. So in this case, oof. All right, this is a...
What's a frog?
Just something I heard. Okay, so I will say that it seems like
Machete to neck.
yeah,
What's a frog?
yeah. I will tell you this, like, yeah, this is going aggro on someone. Roll plus hard.
Oh, that rocked. That's gonna be a 13.
Oh shit. Okay.
2 5s.
All right. So on a 10 plus, they have to choose to force your hand and suck it up, or to cave and do what you want. So
I think she's like hovering them over like the different bikes, like which one do I do first?
Little of the paint just starts to bubble
Yours?
up.
Yeah. It's like
A single tear.
like she's like flexing her wrists back and forth, like the flame widens and narrows to like very like a cutting edge versus like an actual conflagration, and she's just like, and
Yeah.
she's like inching it closer towards that V8 engine.
Mhm.
And you can't see her face or her eyes to know how serious she is, but something about like the way she's like craning her head and like the ventilation noises coming from the mask, it's like it's a very otherworldly feeling of like there's no emotion really that seems to be attached to this. You have no idea. She doesn't care. She might blow herself up. Does it matter? So cave and do what I want.
I will say this, Sprague has been, just blood has been pouring out of his midsection. And at this point, he just kind of keels over. And like having a choice between picking him up and keeping Daxo, he's going to move back closer towards the bikes, is going to move the blade off of Daxo's throat, and motion the other henchman to kind of like move forward and move towards picking up the bike, and is going to move Daxo about arm's length away from himself.
Bad fucking choice.
Question. Yeah,
I shoot him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as soon as Dax is out of the way, Sin would shoot him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
From
Shit,
two
I don't even-
directions.
I don't even have to. Aw. I don't even have to do murder. Other
Okay.
people are gonna do. I'm just an innocent boy.
All right. So both of you are going to go ahead and give me your harm moves. So roll plus hard.
All right.
And then, do I get anything for having a scope on my rifle?
Does it have any potential tags there? Does it? Let me see.
It says plus far or plus 1 harm at far.
I will say this. You are far enough away that I will give you the harm.
All right.
Okay. So
Cool.
this is just to make sure
geez.
that you don't like shoot wide.
Well, I'm looking at an 8.
Okay.
Ooh, let's see. I am at a 7.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, choose 2. On a miss, choose 1. So you inflict terrible harm, plus 1 harm. You suffer little harm, minus 1 harm. You take an definite and undeniable control of something, or you impress, dismay, or frighten your enemy. Let's start with Sin. What are you going to do first?
I want to frighten my enemy.
Okay.
She is.
Mhm.
Oh, is he wearing a hat of any kind, or like a helmet, or glasses, or like anything on his face?
The dog skull necklace.
Yeah.
The dog skull necklace. She's
Absolutely.
gonna
Dog
shoot
skull
it.
necklace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the dog skull necklace. I think I'll be honest, like this is less frightening, and like I think the fact that you are firing with a rifle into his chest.
Well, I think actually she likes that necklace. That's pretty sharp. She's gonna shoot the side of it. She's gonna shoot the chain off his neck.
Awesome. Okay. All right. It drops, and I think that it falls. It seems like you had 2, so in this case, it seems like unless you are doing horrifying damage to this guy, you are taking definite and undeniable control of the situation.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me see. Okay. So at this point, he is, I think, the necklace is severed, at which point he kind of like spins frightened right into McGuire's shot. What do you do?
Yeah. Full center chest shotgun blast. I am going to choose to inflict terrible harm.
All right.
And my shotgun does 3 harm base.
Okay. So the weird thing is you got over 10, right?
No, I got an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you inflict terrible harm, and you just see, I think you see the bare chest kind of like knocked with the necklace off now. You just see him perforate with the shot, at which point Big Wheels just drops like a sack in front of you. And I think, Daxo, that like grasp that was barely on your shoulder just drops, and you realize that this thing is dead. And somebody said in the chat, Big Wheel has deflated. How fucking dare you all?
No, it's fine. It's fine. He'll be fine. He's fine. He's fine.
I think a realization comes over Kerosene seeing Big Wheel drop, which she clocked as the leader the first time, and it's like my bikes now, my bikes. So she clicks off the flamethrowers, puts her hands back on essentially, and swings herself onto the V8 engined bike. It's hers now. She revs the engine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point,
Is Big Wheels fully dead yet?
Big Wheels, if he is not dead, he is very close to dead. I think there's just the littlest bit of life left in him.
The rules are clear. He's dying. My bike.
Yeah.
I think Daxo kneels down next to Big Wheels and presses his mouth up to Big Wheels' ears or ear, and says something that nobody else can hear.
Okay. and you do that, and
That's
I will.
right. None of you can hear. Fuck you.
That seems par for the course.
And the remaining nameless henchman just like takes off at a clip, sprinting for the gate of Black Rawk.
Daxo looks up after having just whispered something to a dying man. You should probably kill him. He's going to come back.
Sin's gonna line up and try and take a shot at him.
Okay. All right.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's. I probably am reading these harm moves wrong, but let's see.
No.
No, I'm not.
There's
give it a
exchanging
try.
harm, seized by force, and
I mean,
single combat.
I feel like this is specifically succor someone.
Oh, yeah.
When you attack someone unsuspecting or helpless.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is true.
You are.
No one's more helpless than when they're running away.
Yeah, you are just murking him. Treat it as going aggro, but your victim has no choice to cave and do what you want. If you couldn't, you simply inflict harm as established. So go aggro. Roll plus hard.
All right. Show me something good. Oh yeah, no, that was not good.
It wasn't good. Okay.
No. It
How-
was
yeah.
far away from him.
Oh no. Okay. Describe for me what's the actual number? Just 6, 5, 4?
1.
Oh, what?
Wait, what?
Oh.
My heart is, or actually no, 2. I'm sorry. My heart is a -2.
Your kid. Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah. So.
Because that is a stat that is possible with these delightful
Hey.
class.
Sin, I didn't mean to call you out like this.
No. Hey, listen, I put points where it matters.
So tell me something. What is it that distracts you from nailing this shot on an unsuspecting or helpless fleeing man?
Let's see. I think what it is that like the rifle takes a little bit longer to reload. Daxo says something, so she doesn't totally reload it like completely properly because it's a little quicker than she normally would, like shot after.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
yeah, I think as you as the at the first chance that you miss, you manage to kind of like, I think, just go just wide of this fella's cranium, and like he just, without laying down a tarp or anything, just throws himself over the barbed wire fence. It is not pretty, but like just through sheer willpower and force alone, he manages to vault over the top.
Can I
Yeah.
use my first faceless specific move? The one I'm just dying to use all the time.
Yeah,
Because you
absolutely.
did say it was through a barbed wire fence, so that's scenery, correct?
Yeah, it is.
I am on a V8 motorbike, yeah?
Uh-huh.
I'd like to use my move. That's oh yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah.
It's happening.
I get to roll hard to smash my way through scenery to get to or away from something.
Okay.
In this case scenario, I would love to use momentum here to smash through that barbed wire and potentially run down this dude with my new motorbike.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and this is again.
he's probably not moving real fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I gotta roll real good.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll real good. Let me see. This is deal with bad terrain, but you get to do that. So
I do get to do this.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that this is it's a bike, so it's massive equals 0. 1 battle option. Its option is going to be it's aggressive. Yeah. Wait. Actually, it's.
There is specific rules for using a vehicle as a weapon against a person.
Yeah, it's a +1 armor, and
Incredible.
yeah, this thing, honestly, just barrel into it. Go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Add
Please
one
be
to
good. I
add
can't
one
wait.
to your roll. Yeah.
Add 1 to my I'm already rolling hard. That's a +3. You're saying I have +4 to this roll?
No, I'm gonna get these rules right, but let's say +3 for now because I think that's the max.
It's specifically in my actual move set for this, so it is roll plus hard. So
Do
we can
it.
ignore the vehicle stuff because I'm specifically using a move. That's on my pencil. Okay. 8.
All right. Okay.
So specifically, it says on a 7 to 9, you get what you want. It's smash or move the scenery, but I do take 1 harm.
Okay.
And I'm disoriented.
Yeah. So
Worth it.
So fill that segment of the clock as this guy is struggling to get off the barbed wire without like just tearing too much into himself, and all of that effort goes to waste as you just slam into the fence with this armored muscle cycle.
Incredible.
Yeah, so it knocks him off of the fence. He is pretty much pinned under barbed wire and the fence, as well as the muscle cycle. He is a sitting duck. You are, however, disoriented. So
Worth it. I have got barbed wire around me now.
It will have to be up to somebody else if you guys want to finish this guy off.
What a gift, though.
Oh yeah, such a gift. So precious, so sweet.
As soon as I would imagine, as soon as Kerosene takes off over there, Sin is gonna be like, and start just like jogging after, like while reloading, while like rolling up the chain, just like jogging over there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's you, because at this point, McGuire's turning on Sprague.
Yeah, and Sprague is just like absolutely just kind of like trying to crawl away at this point. Once again, kind of just bleeding out. You don't know how much fight's left in this guy.
Yeah, so I'm saying stick with fleeing guy, and we'll get back to Sprague.
Okay. Let's see. What do I want to do here? How about? All right. All right. She is going to approach, and first, what's Kerosene doing? Is she still on the bike?
I think I'm half on the bike. I'm holding on to the handle, but I think I've like fallen slightly over to the side because again, this bike is way too big for me. And I've like, since I hit the barbed wire, there's some that's like wrapped around me. I'm bleeding a little bit, but it's nothing serious. But I am like half off and my head is like lolling back. I'm pretty sure she's seeing proverbial stars or V8 engines rattling around in her skull at the moment.
You're seeing little V8 engines with wings.
With wings like circling around.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We're gonna have to fix this thing up to fit you. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. That was amazing.
Good. She's gonna go over to where the guy is pinned. Is he injured now, or is he just pinned?
He is severely injured. He is desperately trying to push himself like out, but at the same time is just not only struggling, but is utterly terrified.
So she is going to like step on the top part of the fence that like is right over his chest, so that she basically stepping on his chest, so he can't really move as well. And then she's going to take the shotgun and like put it right. She's going to put it in his mouth. Yeah. She's going to be like, all right, what kind of information do you have for me?
And he just looks at you, and I think just there's nothing but fear in his eyes. I'm going to say you are going to go aggro on someone. So go ahead and roll me plus hard.
Can I offer some help in this situation where even though I'm half hanging off the engine just because I have a +3
Oh yeah,
with Sin right now?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I should have
I
done something with that.
answer her or I'll put this thing in reverse.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll to help first. We'll see if you get this +2.
Oh, that was pretty as close to the highest number as I could get. That's going to be a 14.
Nice. Okay, you have a.
You ever know that you're my hero?
You're my mom.
Girl.
You have a +2 on this move.
Thank goodness. Well, that cancels out my -2, so here we go on a good old fashioned 0.
All right.
I should have made different choices. All right. And as when she says that, and he looks all real scared and stuff, it's a 5.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh no, indeed.
On a miss, be prepared for the worst. And I think in this case, he is looking at you and he tells you a undeniable truth, which is he just looks at you and says, "You have no idea what you've done. You have no idea what hell's coming here." And he's just, I think he's very badly hurt. And there's a fear in his eyes, but I think it's almost like a righteous kind of like anger at the same time, like a fervor, a zeal that is attached to this guy as he looks you in the eye and tells you something that is undeniable.
She is going to look at him for a second, and then she's going to take the shotgun, just like press it on his forehead and be like, "I don't like your answer," and just shoot him.
Oof. All right. Boom. Done. He is out of commission, and
No.
that is an understatement.
One
I
way to
realize
say it.
that is the understatement of the year.
he's
Not
gone.
doing
He's
great.
he is unconscious
He's got a bit of a headache.
now.
He's
pretty
been
sure
unconsciousness.
I'm pretty sure like a glimpse into Kerosene's brain seeing this like amount of gore, she just sees confetti.
No, Kerosene has puppet vision.
Oh, I love
Like,
it.
there's like no real gore that she sees. It's like a piñata exploded in her brain.
Yeah, absolutely. This the remains of what used to be a man kind of face up at you, Sin, but you are left chilled by the kind of the message that he left you with, which seems to suggest that whatever outfit this guy was a part of, there's more coming. And not only that, what is everybody kind of doing as you're kind of reeling, or not reeling, but kind of like recovering from this situation?
I mean, I'm still going after Sprague here.
Yeah, like Sprague is just like very pathetically just kind of like trying to move along the ground, and I think at this point has just like passed out.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I mean,
so
massive internal blood loss. What do you want me to tell you?
And external.
so McGuire is gonna like go up to him, grab him, flip him over onto his back. And can I see his tattoo?
Certainly can.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And it's definitively the same tattoo
There.
that I have.
Well, I will tell you the thing that is different to you is that the kind of like the wings are like, it's a very strange kind of motif that kind of like strikes you as like there is this kind of strange design here that is basically marrying kind of like dog or wolf like imagery, like similar to like a dingo with like the angelic wing imagery. And you realize that like as you kind of like also kind of like spy the remains of the second nameless member of this trio, he has a similar kind of tattoo that is more dog oriented. And you realize that Sprague has a special designation. The others kind of have these kind of like wolf skull or dingo skull kind of like insignia and tattoos. This dingo skull is in the center of wings. And then that is actually, I will give you an opportunity to read a situation here.
Yeah, sure. Cool. I would actually like to. I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay.
I have a move called Everybody Eats, even that guy. When I want to know something about someone important, I can roll plus hot, and I have a somewhat different list of questions.
Okay. Go ahead and make
So
your...
I want to know something about Sprague. So I'm going to roll plus hot. 6 plus 2, 8.
Okay. What is that list of questions?
All right. So on a 7 to 9, I can ask 1. And. Huh. I think the most interesting and relevant one here is as much as I like the question, what's up with them? I think we're gonna go with who do they know, like, and or trust?
It's funny that you choose that. So the thing that is very clear to you about Sprague is that he looks, fairly young, like early 20s, late teens.
I don't recognize this guy. I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah, well, actually, judging by the marks on him, like just a lot of like heavy bruising, and you realize that as you look at this kid's face, it's very familiar to you. And you realize with a momentary kind of glance, this is Omega's son.
Uh-oh.
Hell yeah.
Do we care the douchebag's children?
Bloody hell.
Someone's going to be angry.
That sounds like a personal problem to
We
me.
went after your kids first.
That's right.
What do you do?
I think McGuire, McGuire has sort of like pulled him up and like, opened his shirt to get a real good look at this mark.
Mm-hmm.
Shakes his head, drops the kid, just lets him sort of like flop back into the dirt of the tunnel entrance. Just gets up, marches towards the bar.
Okay. As you are marching towards the bar, I will say that you notice one other thing, which is that as your eye kind of travels along the tunnel entrance, as you're kind of like making your way back, you notice that stranger seems
that's what I'm looking for.
The stranger seems to have collapsed on the ground not far off from the tunnel.
Oh, okay. So he did not go into the bar. He went back into the tunnels.
He was moving for the tunnels and then seems to have just collapsed midway.
Okay. So I'm going for him in that case.
Okay.
And I do not trust this motherfucker. So I'm, I've spent one shell. So I got another one in there.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. Nah, you know what? McGuire's a cautious sort. So as I approach, I'm gonna crack the shotgun and I'll load another shell in there, so that I'm full up.
Okay.
Crack it back, and I'm coming up on him, shotgun poised.
Okay. And he is unmoving, mouth agape, kind of like just kind of inhaling sand. And as you get closer to him, you realize that he is probably, as you kind of get a look at his face, his lips are chapped. He's covered in dirt and filth, like more so than every other Wastelander that you've encountered. And not only that, his skin looks pale and sallow, as if he is 1, exhausted, and 2, dehydrated. You realize that whatever like transpired prior to this, kind of like this encounter, he has probably just collapsed from the sheer exhaustion and effort of whatever travail it took for him to get here.
All right, I kick his shotgun off to the side, well out of his reach, lean down, examine all this, take this in, and I say,
You look like you could use a drink, mate.
And he looks back. Like, I think that, like, just kind of like straining to meet your gaze, you just kind of like see his head turn to you, this ragged hair with a streak of white run through it, looking up and says, yeah, all right.
does he look like he's gonna... He's not getting up. I grab him by the ankle and I drag him into the bar.
Okay. As you flip him over, you realize that the jacket that he is wearing, in which he has kind of sewn makeshift shoulder armor, is that of, from the times historic, a peace officer.
Yeah, well, that could mean any number of things. Our boy could be a peace officer, or he could have taken it off one. It's all the same out here.
So yeah, I think the rest of you then, you know, when you return to the tunnels, you just see McGuire kind of slogging back to the bar, dragging this guy by one ankle behind him, shotgun over his shoulder.
I didn't know that you were that desperate for patrons, McGuire.
It's been a rough day. I just lost 3.
Yeah, I suppose they didn't pay up either, did they?
Yeah.
Dax,
If I was in it for the scratch, I wouldn't be here at all.
Zach.
Yeah.
Daxo is actively searching these bodies right now, just kind of giving them a quick once over, especially looking for anything that's plastic.
Okay.
But anything of value, really.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and make me read a sitch? And what I will tell you is, depending on what you do, how well you do, I can give you something in exchange.
Read a sitch. So that is sharp.
Okay.
That's decent. That's 7. It's only 7. Never
Okay.
mind. It's not decent. But I did just level up.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. On a 7, I will say that the thing that you get is you grab his machete. It's in a very nice kind of, it's not necessarily like anything plastic. I think the one thing that you will notice is as you kind of check around the bikes, you also notice there's kind of like a fuel can, but you know, like with kind of like a plastic nozzle, but otherwise it's otherwise unremarkable. But at the same time, you do get that machete, which looks like it's been serrated and sharpened to a fine edge.
If is anybody looking directly at Daxo while this is going down? He's gonna break the tip off that fuel can. Cool. And stuff it in a pocket.
Awesome. Okay.
And take the machete.
Awesome. So, Sin, you're talking with McGuire. What is Kerosene doing?
I think at this point, Kerosene, I'm going to assume Sin has helped disentangle Kerosene from the barbed wire and is probably like hobbling into the bar alongside you. Is that
kind of helped her along?
Yeah. Is that jacket falling off of our stranger, or is it still firmly in place?
The jacket is pretty firmly cinched. It's got this fairly kind of like still kind of intact zipper, but there's just a bunch of holes in the jacket.
Okay. I think in that case, like Kerosene like sits on a stool directly next to the stranger and is like hunched fully over, just like gas mask like fixed where the eyes are, like just staring at him. There's like a whole bunch of whispers rolling through her head, like this mixture of like run away, like just like everything is either just like be nice, say hi, be polite, you know what you were raised to be, and then it's like this mixture of like blow it up, just like like rapid fire through her. And like eventually she's just staring at him for a very, very long time until she just goes, hi.
And he kind of like stirs and looks at you, is kind of like, and like you can see that like this is a man that's seen a lot, but he still has to like work hard not to kind of like goggle at seeing you in this mask, and just kind of like, sets his jaw and looks wildly around the dust bucket.
I think Sin's probably going to be kind of traipsing around, kind of following McGuire. She'd collect the skull that she shot off of our big wheels, which that one was a jackal skull, I believe.
Dingo skull. Actually.
Dingo skull. So she's walking around, and she's kind of just like holding in different places. Like, I really kind of like this. I don't know. What do you think? Hat? You think you make a nice hat? I think you make a nice hat. And she's kind of just like holding it different places, like trying to figure out what she wants to do with it.
Yeah, it's real shiny, Sin.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen many of these. You got to really get out there to kind of track one of these down, and I just don't have the time these days. What do you think?
And
Kimbo?
as you put on the skull, you just hear this kind of like really just rough voice, as if it's been dragged along 20 miles of asphalt. And you just hear, "We ain't got a lot of time. This place, it's gonna burn to the ground." And the stranger's looking at you, trying to impress upon all of you the gravity of what is coming.
Sin immediately is going to look at Kerosene. Kerosene, what did you do?
I killed a guy.
Did you start a fire again?
No.
And then she's going to look back at the stranger on the ground. What are you talking about then? There's no fires currently. She's sitting right here.
And I think by this time, McGuire has gone behind the bar, and like he's not going to get this guy a glass canteen. He's got like a bottle, which he will. But where have I like brought the guy in, and like I'm gonna say like McGuire has sort of like propped him up against the side of the bar. And just from like behind the bar, reaching around, just sort of hands him around this canteen.
Yeah, I think you hand him the canteen. He looks at you like apprehensively. As he looks and makes eye contact with you, you realize that nobody has paid him any kind of like courtesy in a very long time, and like almost as if you are going to take it away from him. He just snatches the canteen out of your hand and begins just drinking from it like as quickly as he can, like a caged animal.
Well, a little rude, isn't he?
Daxo speaks up from behind by the door once again, just kind of popping up. He's talking about the wolves. They're coming.
The dogheads. Yeah.
No, Yes.
Yeah. Speaking to that, Sin's gonna look right at McGuire. The one that got crushed with the muscle bike. Anyway, the one that got crushed did say some pretty, I don't know, future-y kind of things that, I don't know, he seemed pretty serious. He did say something about, all hell breaking loose, them coming back here, lots of gloom and doom kind of things, but I don't know. I kind of believed him.
Beef with you, stranger. They seem mighty keen to get at you.
They want my car. I didn't give it to them.
You got yourself a car.
Can I have it?
It's pretty fancy. Wouldn't happen to be a pursuit special, would it?
And his eyes kind of like narrow and kind of like flick side at you. He says, "Yeah. What's that to you?"
McGuire has kind of taken a stance, like kneeling next to this guy, leans in close.
Tell me, stranger, who are you?
And he looks at you and he just, my name's Max. And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Son of a bitch!
Oh no, who could have foreseen?
My boy!
So guys, thanks so much for joining us. This has been a blast. I will take any excuse I can to just dress up like I'm like going to the Wastelands. So this has been awesome. Big hand to my cast for tonight, who bring the A game. Holy shit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go do a quick round robin the same way we did our introductions, and you guys are going to give us shout outs and plugs. So David, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. This was a hell of a kickoff. We got blood and chrome, and that's what you want to see. I've been David. Once again, he, him. You can check out my game stuff over at dbb-8.itch.io, including some games that we've played right here on Flights of Fandom. We have used my hack of Blades in the Dark for a number of flights, and you can get that for your very own. Pay what you want. So scoot on over there, check it out. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at @DBrunelBrutman. And with that, I will kick it over to the next person.
Hopper, shout outs, plugs.
What's up? I'm Hopper. Still sorry about that. If you want more of my dumb fuck bullshit, follow me at Fail Deadly on pretty much any of the expected possible places. That's with a 3 instead of an E because I'm a bad person. And shout out to another stream on this here very show, that being Hole in the World. We just came back from our winter break on Sunday, and it is getting fucking wild already. So every other Sunday at 4:30 p.m. EST, Zach is the GM, the long-suffering GM of that, and me and Marcy are both cast members. Come check us out.
On the bright side, I make you guys suffer too, so that's fair. That's equitable. Marcy, shout outs and plugs.
Hey y'all, I have been Marcy. I'll hopefully continue to be her. You can find me around the internet under the username Experimental Madness, as I said before. Lots of cool stuff happening on this here channel obviously for the rest of the month. We will be playing in the Mad Max universe, except for the last Tuesday. There's a bonus 5 Tuesdays this month. So we'll be off that final Tuesday. But for the next 3 Tuesdays, you'll find us right here. And then in April, we're taking a hard left turn into the world of Bridgerton with Good Society. So I just love that swerve. It's going to be great. And then in May, we'll be back for our final flight in the Star Wars universe. And then in June, we're going to be taking a deep sea dive into BioShock. So there's a lot coming up for Flights of Fandom, but there's tons of shows that you can see on ManaPot Studios that aren't Flights of Fandom. Hopper already plugged The Hole in the World, which is our Invisible Sun game every other Sunday. But there's also Pathfinder games and Starfinder games. You should check out our calendar, check out our Discord. If you're behind on any episodes for any of our shows, look at our YouTube channel. And if you ever want to play with us in any of our games, well, you should get in touch. We would love to play with you on this channel.
Awesome. And finally, our new addition, Fox, if you would like to give us your shout outs and plugs.
Yeah, so once again, as with the beginning of tonight's awesome play, I am still Rawk Fox, and you can find me if you look up Rawk Fox, I'll be there. And so you can find me there doing my thing. And also, if you have ever been cyberpunk curious, I am on a weekly cyberpunk red play, and it is over at the Sirenscape on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv/Sirenscape. And we are on, I believe, the 4th season, and in which my character, your favorite netrunner, Hades, is getting closer to finding this mysterious AI that's making her and her buddies run around doing crazy things. So just come over, hang out with us.
God.
That's what I've got.
I honestly love cyberpunk universes and storylines. So thanks everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Warbler Wren, to Cole Drake for tuning in. I'm so grateful. Plus for all of you guys checking us out. Plus Ava Semaphore, It's the Fritz, It's Zima, Cagsips06, Kitten Rescue, Nintendo Switch XL, Rogue Girl. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We can't wait to get started again on next week for more Wasteland madness. I'm going to keep it brief tonight and save my shout outs and plugs for next week. But in the meantime, guys, have a great time. Check us out and come play with us. Thanks and good night.
Come play with us.